I'm Sean Myers of the Westmoreland Sports Network, now joined by the head coach of the Penn-Trafford Warriors hockey team before they compete for the Penguins Cup Championship in Class AA, Chris Cerutti. And first off, Chris, congratulations on getting to this point. I know it's a little bit of an improbable run through the postseason. The number 8 seed Warriors knock off top seeded South Fayette and then win a little rivalry matchup against the Norwin Knights in the semifinals to get to this championship. The 8th seed, the last team into the playoffs. So what's been the key to this improbable run and a couple of upsets?
Yeah, you say improbable. It's funny, right? So this year, anywhere from 4 through 8, we're pretty much up for grabs over the last 2 weeks of the season. And, it's no secret that we did not end the season well. So, typically at the beginning of the year, what I tell my teams is the goal is not to go 20-0 in the regular season and be the first seed in the playoffs, right? It's to be playing your best hockey come March and set yourself up for a potential run. Neither one of those happened this year. So not only did we not go 20-0 in the regular season, we weren't playing our best hockey down the stretch. But, the message that and why I think has resonated with the kids and why we're having success is our problem, during the second half of this year has not been the skill of the players. The problem has not been the X's and O's. It's been more of a mentality. So, it's self-accountability. It's understanding their individual roles within a team, right? When you build a team, you don't build a team of 20 goal scorers who you expect to score 2, 3, 4 goals a game. You build a team that is made up of, grunt workers who will go to the net, playmakers, goal scorers, defensive defensemen, offensive defensemen. And so I think we kind of took a step back and we talked about it, right? Like, what do you think your role is? Because that's on the coaching staff. If a kid says they don't know, they need to look in the mirror and understand what their capabilities are. And that's also on us to help them, let them know what they bring to the team. So over the last few weeks, we've really just had more mental discussions than we have anything X's and O's. We've tried to practice our systems in depth, and I think that's been helpful. But our systems are only as good as if the kids are going to be accountable and hold themselves accountable to being able to play within that. So I really think, and I told them, like, that is something that you can change overnight. It's not easy. It takes work. But from a mental standpoint, that can change overnight. And that's why I had hope going into the playoffs, regardless of the draw, that, we proved to ourselves we could beat the best teams, and we proved to ourselves we could lose to the worst teams. And by that, I just beat my records, right? So it really is all just about mental on what this run is. The skill has always been there. We have added a few up the course of this year. Goaltender Tyler Funk joined us a little bit before Christmas. He's been, a pillar of this run. He's been solid in net. He's been a great teammate. He's a freshman, right? So the seniors have taken a kin to kind of mentoring him and bring him on with the team. We added Brock Bieneman, who, adds that extra layer of grit and skill kind of combined. So he hopped in with us right after the Christmas break. And then we also added Aiden Drodos, who, we had to get creative to make sure that he met all the PIHL requirements, but he was able to join us for 6 varsity games and played in 4 JV games. But he's been an asset to us as well. That just gives us a little bit more dynamics as a coaching staff to be able to plug and play to get to that team mentality that I was talking about earlier.
I can't even imagine how good Drodos probably looked in JV because I saw him get a hat trick in the game against Fox Chapel. When you have freshmen that are kind of late additions, like you said, is it a little bit of a process to make sure that everyone's on the same page? Because to be honest, I'm sure there are some upperclassmen who thought maybe I'm going to lose some playing time as a result of this.
Well, that goes back to the mentality I talked about earlier, right? So I think once you play for the name on the front, not the name on the back, everyone can see how the additions have helped us. So that's one milestone to get over. But the second is it also breeds a level of competition, and it's healthy competition. So even with Penn-Trafford in prior years, right, we may not have had as much as we've had this year. We have capable kids on JV that could be playing varsity. We have, they say it in every announcement I share or broadcast. I'm sure you see it in our stats. We've played 5 goaltenders this year. Every one of them are capable of playing for a varsity hockey team. And so what it does is it breeds competition and it brings their best out, not just in games, but in practices. So I think it's twofold. I think having the seniors and the leaders, the captains, Chase, Cam, Bryce, being able to kind of bring some of those underclassmen, not under their wing, but to help guide them and to make them feel a part of the team is a big to getting their mentality caught up with the rest of the team. And then also as a coaching staff, just kind of being delegate and understanding how you go about inputting them into the lineup, right? It's not necessarily looked at as, hey, they're taking your playing time. It's, hey, they may be fitting in that maybe you shouldn't have been in, right? Or maybe you'd be better served on the wing on a power play unit instead of in front of the net. So some of that's on the coaching staff to help sell that and bring the team together. But again, like I said, the leaders in the room this year, I know they were frustrated throughout the season because they knew the potential, but we just weren't there. And I think, I think if anything, that North Hills loss at the end of the year really helped us. Truth be told, the coaches didn't even go into the locker room after the game. We talked with the captains on the ice and said, hey, this is for you guys to figure out. The coaching staff will be there ready for film for the first day of playoffs. But, as leaders of this team and as people that they look up to in here, go spill it out. Go have a closed door session. And I think I got really good feedback from multiple players on how that went. I think it was very constructive. Wasn't finger pointing. It was, hey, we need to buy in together. And so, do or die situations in the playoffs also make teams do that, right? They have to play for the front and not the back because there's not going to be another game if you don't. So,
sixth year for you as the head coach. You've had some really good seasons. A couple of years ago in the regular season, the Warriors went 15-4. This wasn't, to your point, the best regular season, but now you are making this run, and obviously I'm assuming it's gotten a lot of attention locally. You grew up Penn-Trafford guy. You were an assistant before becoming the head coach. What have you heard from the people in the community during this run during the postseason, now culminating with the Penguins Cup opportunity?
It's been great. I mean, social media, the school district in and of itself. My wife's a teacher at one of the local PT schools. So they're trying to do all they can, right? They're getting buses for some fans to go down to UPMC. They're generating great ticket sales already. I'm assuming it'll be a sellout. TJ usually gets a pretty big crowd. Hopefully we can come close to matching them. But one thing about Penn-Trafford, I think everyone who would listen to this knows Jeff Morrow, and he said to me after the semifinal game, there's going to be people coming out of the woodworks in Penn-Trafford that never saw a hockey game before because they do truly, love their sports and they'll support the community. So I think from a community standpoint, it's been great. The other thing I would kind of say on this is, when I kind of pointed out, growing up as an assistant, when I first started under Rob Baker, he kind of had the program on the right trajectory, right? My first year, playoffs were kind of an outside thought. Fast forward into Rob's last year with the program, playoffs were a realistic goal. 2 years into my tenure and bringing Bill and BJ on, it was expected to get to the playoffs, right? There were high goals that maybe go forward, but it was expected to get to the playoffs. The last 2 years, getting to the Penn's Cup has been an expectation. We haven't made it, right? But it's been an expectation. And this year, for 6 months of it, we thought we were going to, it didn't look like stars were going to align. But, the program, the culture, the mentality is a credit to, people that came before me, the people that I have with me from a coaching perspective. It's a credit to the board. It's a credit to the school district, but most of all, it's a credit to the players, right? We're starting to get more numbers in the developmental ages, the middle school ages. And that only breeds, a better product on the ice once they get to, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade.
So you knock off the number 1 seed in South Fayette. You upset Norwin as well, the number 4 seed. Now you have to go through the number 2 seed Thomas Jefferson Jaguars, and it's a team you're very familiar with. You split the 2 regular season games, your team winning 3-2 in December, and then they rebounded with a 5-1 victory in the second meeting about a month later. But you also have history with them in the postseason. They eliminated you last season in the quarterfinals 5-1. So you know what to expect from the Jaguars. They still have a lot of those same guys that were key components the last couple of years. What will it take to get over the hump against an outstanding team?
You're asking for my game plan. Tyler was a good coach. I can't give him that. No, it's no secret. They have good offensive talent, right? And they like to play a track meet. And so what does that mean? We need to make sure that we take away time and space. We need to limit high opportunity chances because they'll make us pay. So keep them to the outside as much as we can, and then also, play a full 200-foot game. So, minimizing mental mistakes against teams like South Fayette and TJ, it's crucial because, mental mistakes, 2, 3, 4 minute lulls in action or lulls in mentality can come back to really bite you. So minimizing mental mistakes, capitalizing on special teams, coming plus or even within the special team battle, I think is going to be important for our team come Monday night. But, sticking to the game plan that has worked for us throughout the season, right? We haven't executed it all season, but we've seen glimmers of it here and there. And TJ earlier in the year was one of those examples, and South Fayette was a good example. So, contrary to what some may think or say, the game plan from South Fayette to Norwin was the exact same, and it'll probably remain very similar for TJ.
Well, hopefully the result is the same as well as those other two games. Chris, we appreciate the time. Thanks again for doing this. Congrats on getting to the Penguins Cup, and good luck in that matchup against the Jaguars.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.